What's up everybody, this is SaberWolf94 with a Psychic deck profile today. This is going to be Lunala Toxapex GX. It's a Lunala GX, the regular Lunala, Stage 2, and Toxapex GX. I looked around through my Psychic cards in Standard, what little I have, and these guys seem to make sense. These guys seem to be able to have the ability to work together. I'll talk about them now. So what this deck is all about is mostly Lunala GX's ability. Now I should be running like a 2-2 line, but I only have one. So there's advantages and disadvantages to running more of this or more of this, but you can try them out, experiment for yourself. But I'm trying this with one Lunala GX, and this Pokemon isn't that amazing, to be honest. For a Stage 2 GX, 250 HP, its standard is alright, is good, even though this is supposed to be a legendary too. It's got, the usual weakness to darkness, a good resistance to fighting that's useful. Retreat too, it's alright. But its attacks, they're very, very mediocre, I should say. So Moongeist Beam does 120 for 4, and the defending Pokemon can't be healed during the next turn. Now, it's good that it has, this little effect. It might come up, but the cost for 120 energy for 4 energy is not good. This Pokemon that can do like 110 for 3 and 2, actually. I'm always thinking of Salazzle. So, yeah, it's not that amazing. And the little effect, for the extra cost, it's not a super terrible attack. It just barely passes. And for its GX attack, Lunarfall GX, you knock out an opponent's basic Pokemon that's not a GX. This is once again kind of underwhelming, because what are you going to knock out? Like a basic Pokemon, it can't even be a GX. I mean, you can knock out an EX, so that's good. But still, EXs are going to rotate out eventually, and GXs are going to be the big thing. They already are the big thing. But the reason this attack is underwhelming is because it limits your targets a lot. I mean, knock out an opponent's basic Pokemon, it's great, but you can only do this with knock out a basic Pokemon that, let's say, has like 130 HP or 120 HP, those sorts of Pokemon, and you're kind of in that rage to kill them with one shot, to be honest, anyway. And if you're going to knock out a small guy, like basic Pokemon that can still evolve with 60 HP and stuff, that's not an impressive feat at all to waste a GX attack on. And the cost is rough too, like 3 Psychic Energy to do this. It's not very good if you ask me. The only good thing about this Pokemon, and the reason why you're going to use him, 1 or 2 copies, like I've said, it depends on you. You could focus entirely on him too and not the other Lunala. But the only reason to run this guy would definitely be for Psychic Transfer. Now we've seen this before with Aromatisse. We've seen this even long before Aromatisse with Dragon's Exalted Hydreigon and what's it called? Klinklang. Yeah, in black and white. I'm pretty sure he did the same thing with Metal Energies, yeah. And what this ability does is, as often as you like, you can move around Psychic Energies. In this case, it's going to be Psychic Energies. You move her around any way you like. You can do this as many times as you want in a turn. Move around how you see fit. And this is good because you can conserve energies, and there's a lot of strategies you can do. The most obvious one and the best one with Max Potion. This was popularized by the guy that topped using the black and white, what the hell is it called, Klinklang, Used Darkrai and Rainbow and Blend energies, I think, to just make a great combo, move the energies around, have free retreat, and use Max Potion to keep healing. He also used Kyogre, which is cool. Dark Explorers, shout out. Anyway, so this strategy has been around for a long time. It was used with Darkrai and Dragon's Exalted Hydreigon. I'm pretty sure you guys might be familiar with it with Aromatisse and Gardevoir decks and stuff like that. You know, Max Potion is a broken card if you can use it, and that's the whole premise of moving the energies around and taking advantage of this. So this is what we're going to do in this sort of deck. So a good partner is Toxapex. I think these guys can work together nicely, like I said from what I have, because he's a big GX Pokemon, so he's a great candidate for Max Potion, and he's got some solid attacks going for him as well. But besides him, you know, you can use Max Potion on any of these Pokemon, but of course, you guys can realize it's great to do it on a Pokemon with a lot of HP, so it becomes a pain for your opponent to damage again, and of course, because they have a less chance of being knocked out in one hit. If you get knocked out by one hit, you know, Max Potion is useless. But let's look at the regular Lunala. This card I feel is much better, looks much cooler too. 160 HP for stage 2, very good. It's got the same great bottom stats as well, and it actually has some much better attacks in my opinion. So Shadow Shot, you can use this as early as with 1 energy, and it's going to do 40 for 1, okay. And for each Psychic Energy, you do 40 more. So if you have 2, that's 80, that's good. 3, 120, okay. And, you know, if you got 4, it's 160, and I think that's right, yeah. And with 5, it's 180 and shit. Very, very, very good. I think my math was right. Oh, 200, not 180. It's going to do 200. So you have the potential to knock out a lot of Pokemon with this, even big GX Pokemon. And that's good. It's going to require a lot of energy, but it's one of those attacks that you can use it with few energies too. And these attacks are good. And Wings of Moon is a 130 for 3, very solid attack. And you move all energy from this Pokemon to your bench Pokemon in any way you like. So similarly, it does a similar thing with Lunala GX, but in an attack, and it forces you to move the energy. But once again, if you move the energy to one of your bench Pokemon, it means you're more safe. It means unless they snipe the Pokemon on your bench, then you will most likely keep the energy around, save the energy, and you know, if you're not losing energy and you keep attaching them and moving them around with Lunala GX and shit, you're going to have a bunch of energies, and you're always going to have Pokemon ready to attack. Now, this is a good attack, 3 for 130, especially with the effect, and it moves energy around, once again, for the Max Potion combo. So obviously, these cards work great together. Like I've said, maybe you want to use more Lunala GX for the ability. Maybe you want to run all Lunala GX, but it depends. Like I said, I run it the way I run it because I don't have all the cards, and I feel like this Pokemon is better overall than this. But if you want a serious like Max Potion strategy, then yeah, you probably would run more of this maybe. So of course we're going to run the basic form. Cosmog, Little Nebby. Okay. It has just a draw card attack. This can't be useful if you open with him, I suppose. 60 HP. Unfortunately, I don't have the stage 1 guy, Cosmoem, and not that, you know, it's completely necessary. In the past, many people have run stage 2 lines without playing the stage 1. You over-rely on rare candy, of course, but, you know, it gives us space, and I needed space in this deck as it is. But to be honest, if I had like 1 or 2, I would run probably 1 and get rid of something, maybe Super Rod. Anyway, but yeah. And let's look at Toxapex now that I've mentioned him. Marini. 60 HP basic Pokemon. Just has Poison Sting, instant poisons your opponent. Decent enough. But of course, the main Pokemon is Toxapex GX. Now, this saw some play in the beginning, but people stopped playing it. I still feel this is a good card. 210 HP is very good, and it's got some all-around good attacks. Spike Cannon is a 1 energy early attack. Of course, it's a flip a coin attack, and I don't like stuff like this, but you flip 4 coins, and for each heads it does 30. So on average, you can do like 60 damage. You can even do 90 and 120 if you're lucky enough. And at the shittiest, you're doing 1 for 30, better than nothing. Then it's big attacks, super intense poison. It's basically a poison attack, but you put 10 damage counters instead of 1. So if your opponent doesn't retreat, it's 200 damage. Of course, this is in an unlikely scenario, retreating, but it's still a good attack. It's 100 for 3 at the very least. Very good. Now, I wish I had an attack for like 2 energies, so it can even be faster, but the way it is good enough. You're going to attack with Spike Cannon, and once you get going, you can use Super Intense Poison or the GX attack. Total Shelter GX. I feel this is a much better GX attack, especially compared to Lunala's. Does 3 for 150, that's very good, and you prevent all effects of attacks, including damage done to this Pokemon, during your opponent's next turn. Now, like I've said, if they switch it around or if they do shit, they can get around of these sorts of effects, but it's not easy, and it does good damage too. So this is a much cooler attack to use if you're going to spend your GX attack. For other Pokemon, I run my Mime, Bench Protection, you guys know. I wish it was Arceus from Shining Legends, but we don't have that yet. And Hoopa, the basic Hoopa. I feel like if you have the ability to run big basic Pokemon, like simple basic Pokemon, you should. And in this case, the psychic equivalent for this is Hoopa, 130 HP. It's got 2 good enough attacks. Hyperspace Punch is 1 for 40, does 20 to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. So that's pretty good. You can use this in other decks as well. And Portal Strike, 3 for 130. Pretty good once again. You can't use it during your next turn, but we have ways to work around that as always. It's a good, psychic basic Pokemon. You want to run cards like this, like in, let's say, 1 copy and shit for your basic count, so that we have enough basic Pokemon. In this case, we have 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. You want to hit 10 or 11, stuff like this. So this is why I run them, just a general good basic psychic Pokemon. And last but not least, Tapu Lele. This Pokemon is fantastic. I don't really need to say anything. And since this is a psychic deck, I mean, we can actually use Tapu Cure GX too. And this can actually be another very good GX attack to use since we're running Psychic Energy. This can be good. We can use this. It can make a good combo. And of course you can attack with him. I mean, you can attack with him anyway. It's not like it requires Psychic Energy for Energy Drive. But we can use the GX attack too. So that's the Pokemon. I've mentioned the Max Potion. It's pretty standard. Field Blower, you run 2 standard cards. You want to use this against Garbodor and, of course, get rid of stadiums and tools, to be honest. But yeah, against Garbodor, we want our abilities. If we lose this thing, Psychic Transfer, it's kind of lame. Now, it's only 1 copy, but it can get the job done. It can be enough a lot of the times. Alright, so yeah, my other standard cards in my skeleton, you got the Switch, you got the Floatstone, you got the Choice Band for extra damage. And for consistency, I run 1 Heavy Ball. This is only for this guy. I'm not really a fan. I like Timer Ball, of course, better than Heavy Ball in game and as a Pokeball. 3rd generation shit, cool ball. But like I've said, I'm not a big fan of flipping coins. That's one of the things that really annoy me about the Pokemon trading card game. It it adds a lot of luck to a game. I mean, maybe it needs it compared to Yu-Gi-Oh, but yeah, I'm not a fan of that. You can potentially, grab two guys, but it's not really that necessary. Um, Heavy Ball instantly grabs the Toxapex EX. Of course, it works with other guys too, but I'd rather use Ultra Ball to be honest. But anyway, we run one Heavy Ball, two Nest Ball, great card, grabs basics, and one Ultra Ball. Maybe I would run two of this. This is basically for Taboo Lele. Grab it in case you don't have a supporter. It can be a problem. And you can grab the Lunalas if need be. You probably don't want to waste it for Toxapex or maybe something like fucking Hoopa, but yeah, good card, standard. The rare candies, of course, we definitely need to run 4 in this kind of deck. And the stretcher, very good for recovery to the hand. And Super Rod, I was considering taking this out to be honest, but I decided to still run it because we don't really have ways to recover energies in this deck, and if we lose energies, like if shit goes wrong, I guess this can help. If you want to replace this with another supporter or an Ultra Ball, that's perfectly fine. For now, I'm trying it out, but I am like very sort of always debating to run this in decks now. There's a lot of decks I don't run this at all. I'm pretty sure I took this out from Lycanroc. I could be wrong, but I'm going to be taking it out from decks if I haven't already. But in some decks, it does work. It is good, especially fast decks. These slower decks, maybe it can kind of be a dead card, but we're still trying it out. Uh, my supporter line is pretty standard. We run the Brigitte, great supporter, grabs you your shit. Can use Tapu Lele, Lily, combo with Ultra Ball, and shit, Tapu Lele, cool. You got the 3 Ns, 3 Sycamores, 2 Skyla this time because we're really relying on rare candy. And generally in decks like Emboar, Magnezone, and shit, where I really rely on stage 2 Pokemon, you want to get them out. I run 2 Skyla at least. Good card. And the Kukui, draw 2, standard shit. And for the last sort of card is Ultra of the Moon, is the Stadium, Lunala shit, you guys know. The retreat cost of Pokemon with Psychic or Darkness energies, 2 less. So we mostly will have a free retreat around the board with this. Toxapex still needs a card. And yeah, I think everybody else can retreat pretty much if they have Psychic energy for free. So this is the deck, you guys. It's pretty straightforward. You want to use Toxapex to attack early, since you can attack with Spike Cannon, or maybe you want to try with Hoopa. And then once you get going, you got a bunch of Psychic energies. You attack with Wings of the Moon, and you move them around with Lunala GX. You move them around, you heal Max Potion, then you put them back and do super intense poison and your other attacks. It's kind of straightforward. To be honest, it looks like a great deck on paper, but this deck is too slow and requires too many things to set up to be considered very good. And the damage output isn't that amazing either, to be honest. If it was getting one-hit knockouts and stuff, then maybe. But yeah, not super good, especially compared to other decks. Like even something like Magnus and Raikou I think is better. Of course, if it sets up, then this deck can have the advantage of a deck like that doesn't get one-hit knockouts. But compared to decks like Gardevoir, perhaps Metal decks and Metagross and stuff, uh, it falls short. You could possibly get your ass kicked even by an Evil Toll deck, to be honest. But it's kind of a good deck. I'm sure it has potential. We just need more cards. As soon as we get like more good Psychic cards and maybe some other stuff to work with, even though this Pokemon overall is bad, the ability is good. This sort of ability has always been good, moving energies around. I suppose it wasn't that great in the DP era, but once again it was because of the lack of the cards and the nature of the format. I guess one of the things that really hurts this deck is that Aromatisse was a stage 1 Pokemon and this is a stage 2. Now granted, as a big dude, it's harder to kill once you get out, but that's one of the things that makes the deck slow. But I'm gonna post some games with this, I think. Hope you guys like it. This is the deck. Hope you guys leave a like, subscribe, share this video with your friends. You can obviously use many partners with Lunala, but for now I decided to use Toxapex. Both of these cards can work on their own perfectly. So that's up for me, guys. What up?